Hello, everyone. A very good evening to you. Hope you are all doing well. Guys, I'm starting about 5 minutes early because I just want to have a chat with some of you, get to know you, and just try to understand why you are here. Because usually, if I start exactly at 7:30, we eat into a lot of time doing this initial discussion. Hassan, how are you? I see you. Good evening.
Good evening,
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
Uncle.
Superb. So, Hassan, tell me a bit about yourself. Tell me what brings you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My name is Hassan, and I'm 14 years old. I'm currently in CSI College in grade 9, C1.
Super. What brings you here? What brought you to this webinar today? I mean, you seem very confident as an English speaker. So, what brings
Yeah.
you today?
What? I didn't get the question.
You didn't get the question. The question is simple. Why are you here? Because you seem to be a confident speaker. So
Yeah, I am very confident.
that's great. So, what brings you here? What do you want to learn? What is your objective of being here?
Hmm, how do you call this? Be confident in very large audiences of above 1,000 people.
Oh, wow, that's quite an ambitious goal. Fantastic. Nice to have you here. Be
Maybe
confident
two.
speaking in front of an audience of more than 1,000 people. That's fantastic. So nice to have you here, Hassan. And hopefully, by the end of this webinar and also by the end of our program, you will gain that confidence. So I hope to see you stay active throughout the webinar today. Plus, I hope that you will be signing up to my program and I'll be seeing you over the next couple of months as well. Fantastic. All right, nice to. I mean, anyway, you're 14 years old. You are very confident. I like it. I like the energy that you bring. That's great. All right, Chandana, how about you? I see you. Good evening. Chandana, you need to unmute yourself. I can't hear you. All right, okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
How are
My name
you?
is Chandana. So I'm with all, and I'm an entrepreneur. So then what I thought was actually to, because I know what would be the next question you are going to ask. So then I'm going to, make the answer because I want to be a good public speaker one day. So then that's why actually I chose this the program to participate to get some more insights and to continue.
Fantastic. You said you're an entrepreneur. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm into the chemical engineering business, like water purification, chemical manufacturing, like.
Nice. So this all happens locally, or do you have products or services?
Yeah, actually, it's all happened locally because I have a factory in Homagama. So then there are, there's a production line as well as, we have engineers, we have a project team to, do the design and all the water treatment plants, especially wastewater treatment plants. So that's the business I'm into.
Nice, nice. Superb. So nice to have you here, Chandana. Hopefully now you
Yeah, thanks.
want to improve your public speaking skills, your ability to speak in front of an audience. By the end of
Yeah,
you'll get an understanding of how to do that. And hopefully
yeah,
you sign up to our program over the next couple of months, you'll get an even better
yeah.
understanding plus the practice you need to improve yourself. Nice to have you here.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Vijay Nayak, how about you? Good evening.
Good evening to you,
Good
you
evening.
all.
How are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Yes. Fine, thank you. And I am currently engaging in construction industry, so I want to improve this, especially public speaking, to come to up to the level of TED talk like. So that's my hope to joining this
That's
course.
do you want to deliver a TED talk one day? Is that why you're here?
Yes, hope so.
Fantastic. That's a good dream to have. That's a good goal to have. I hope I can help you achieve it. And definitely by the end of this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, great. Nice to have you here, Vijay Nayak. Nice to have you here. All right.
Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.
Problem. All right. Let me ask maybe one more person. Roshan, how are you? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, my name is Roshan Savanaudu. I'm working as an assistant registrar at the University of Moratuwa. So, many occasions I have to give public speeches in front of my students. So, actually, I want to improve my knowledge of public speaking ability. That's why I joined with you.
Nice. That's great to have you here, Roshan. Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Roshan, let me ask you one question, right?
Yeah.
Now, you said you want to improve your skills of speaking in public. What is one skill or what is one thing that's holding you back from being a good speaker? What are some of the challenges that you have faced?
Yeah, thing is, as you publicity that you have given the publicity, because sometimes when I'm speaking that the words are not, the vocabulary is not coming very well. That's the problem I'm facing. So that's why I want to improve my knowledge in public speaking.
Got it. Got it. So you struggle with bringing out the right vocabulary at the right age.
Yes, yeah, totally agree with you.
Got it. Nice. Thank you, Roshan. Thanks for being here. Thanks for.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, great. Hope you get some value by the end of the program today, right? Okay. All right, so I think we are on track now. It's 7:33 and we have a good bit of people joining. I think a few more people are still on the way, but let's get started. So guys, before we get started, I want to play a quick testimonial from one of our past students. So let me play that testimonial first and then let me get into the session today. All right.
Hi guys, Shenal here. I hope all of you are having a great day, and don't worry, I won't take much of your time. First of all, I would like to thank Sheshan and the team, the Success Academy team, for their proper guidance they have given me so far. So what is public speaking, right? Now, back in the day when I was schooling, I think I've missed so many opportunities because I did not discover that I could do public speaking, that I was into public speaking. So because of that, I've missed so many opportunities. But because of their guidance, I think I've discovered it. But right after school, I got into the corporate sector. I've been offered from one of the leading commercial banks. And once again, after a few years, I've been offered from another leading commercial bank in Sri Lanka. I think that is thanks to mainly because of public speaking. So while I was working in the corporate sector, I got to know that I could do this, right? So currently I'm working as a banker, and at the same time, I'm an MC. If you don't know who an MC is, I'm a compeer. And if you don't know who a compeer is, don't worry. I'm an event host, right? So I do host events. I do host weddings, whatever, like the birthday parties, corporate events, award ceremonies. So any sorts of events I do compare, I do host. So that is thanks to public speaking. And I want to mention this thing. So I know all of us wants to start a business. Any sorts of business. I know some of you maybe wants to start restaurants, a coffee shop, maybe like a clothing brand, and even like a photography business. For anything, you need that initial capital. But what I personally feel is like many of us, like the majority doesn't have that luxury on spending an initial amount like a capital payment for any of these business ideas. But by doing public speaking, by doing this myself, I've started my own business. So now I go by the name of Host Lennox. So anyway, my business is in the initial stages, but I have done so many events so far. Thanks to public speaking, thanks to that, I've discovered this talent. So for that, I have to give the credit to the Sheshan and the team. What I want to tell you is, discover whether you any sorts of talent. I'm not especially mentioning public speaking, but any sorts of talent if you have, just discover it. But especially mentioning public speaking. If you do public speaking, just go for those Toastmasters clubs or whatever. Just get that exposure. That will help you in the long run. This is one of my personal messages. I don't know messages. I don't know whether Sheshan will post this because it's already 3 minutes long. So if you're looking for an MC, like an event host for your event, call me on 0766 788 935. So once again, I'll repeat my number. It's 0766 788 935. So hope you have a great day.
All right. So the reason I play this testimonial at the start of every webinar that we do is because he's someone that I knew from the time I was young, right? He and I went to school together and he studied in Sinhala medium. He did not come from an English speaking background. He was not someone that got highlighted for speaking English at school. He was actually someone that spoke in Sinhala. And he was also not someone that got highlighted for doing public speaking or speaking in public, even in Sinhala. But he was one of the first people that I identified as someone that was good at speaking and motivating an audience. And I told him, look, if you want to build a career for yourself, number one, you need to improve your knowledge of English, right? And number two, you need to be able to speak confidently in front of people. Right. And from the time I was in school, I kept helping him. I kept giving him certain tips, tricks, strategies to follow. First of all, on how to learn English. And then number two, I started giving him more and more opportunities that came my way to speak in front of an audience. Right. Because in school, I used to get a lot of opportunities to compare certain events, to lead prayers at school. So I used to get a lot of opportunities anyway. So what I started doing is I started funneling certain opportunities to this boy. Once he left school, he actually got into, he said, one of the leading commercial banks. I think he doesn't want to mention the bank in particular. But when he got into the bank, I said, okay, you got into marketing. Why don't you start creating content and then start getting into comparing, right? So he was very afraid at first. He wasn't sure whether he could do it. But I got him his first event, right? And I came with him. I went with him for that event. And he was very nervous. He wasn't sure. He kept saying, what if I make mistakes? I have grammatical errors and all of that. I said, no, you do it. You try it out. See if you like it. He liked it so much so that now he's got into comparing. I wouldn't say full time because he still works in the bank, but he's planning to quit his job by the end of next year because he wants to make comparing his full-time job. So that's what he meant by the fact that he was starting a business, right? So his life was completely transformed because he learned this one skill. Now, all of you might not want to be compeers and event hosts and so on. But by learning to speak English well, by learning to speak confidently in front of a crowd, the opportunities that will come your way, the chances that will come your way, the doors that will open to you are limitless, right? So with that being said, let's get into the webinar today. All right. So once again, I see a lot of you have joined since I last spoke to you. So first of all, a very good evening to everybody, right? And in this webinar, we are going to discover the 5 biggest mistakes that are keeping you from becoming a confident speaker. And I'm also going to talk a bit about how you can fix these mistakes and become a confident speaker in just 4 months. Not only are you going to gain confidence, you are also going to gain a qualification. What we offer is a diploma qualification in public speaking. And at the same time, through this diploma, I'm going to completely get rid of your fear of speaking in front of a crowd and help you speak confidently in front of anyone, anywhere, at any time. That is my promise to you. All right. Guys, let me talk to you very quickly about some of the benefits of being able to speak confidently. I have highlighted here a high 6-figure salary, right? Some of you might be earning high 7-figure, high 8-figure salaries. I don't know. We get a lot of businessmen joining this, right? Some people, I don't even know who they are until we do about 3 or 4 classes. I remember once we had this very nice looking gentleman. He seemed like a very humble, down to earth gentleman. And he joined our classes. He said he wanted to improve his speaking skills because he had to speak to his team. He told me he was an entrepreneur. So I thought, okay, maybe it was like a small scale or medium scale business. And about 2 or 3 classes in, he and I got to talking, and he said he got an apartment at Shangri-La Apartments. So I thought, okay, maybe he's not a small scale businessman. Let me just search up his name. I won't mention who he is, but he had made a 1 billion rupee personal investment into building a hotel in Galle, and it's one of the biggest hotels in Galle right now. I was thinking, whoa, I didn't even know who this person was, but he's one of Sri Lanka's top level businessmen. So to him, this may have sounded like a joke, as it may to some of you who are here. But if you are in a situation where you want to improve your income, if you are someone that wants to make better sales, if you are someone that wants to run a business, if you are someone that is looking to build a side income through things like delivering keynote speeches and so on, public speaking is something that is going to help you achieve that. You'll also build a high net worth network. And what that means is, once you learn how to speak well, you're not afraid. You're not afraid to talk to people. You're not afraid to get to know people. And when you join a place like ours, when you join a class like ours, you start to meet people from different backgrounds. Just from the 2 or 3 people that I spoke, except for our little 14-year-old boy, who again is very confident. Everyone else seems to be either working at a top position, you're entrepreneurs, and so on. So you get to know different people from different backgrounds, which is going to build up your network. If you're someone that is working a job or trying to get into a job, you learn how to face any interview. You learn how to deliver speeches and presentations without being afraid. Most importantly, you learn how to do sales. You learn how to run a business. You learn how to be a corporate leader who, when you get in front of your team or when you get in front of an audience, don't fumble, don't get scared, don't feel afraid. But you can lead and speak confidently. Last but certainly not the least, you also get qualified, because at the end of my 4-month training, we enter you for a diploma qualification, so that not only are you just going through a random program that will leave you stranded after it's done. No, you get a certificate, you get to go for a graduation, you get a fully fledged diploma qualification once you are done with our program. All right. Okay. So let me give you a quick introduction about myself before we start, because I don't want you to think that you're being taught today by some random person. So let me give you a quick introduction to myself. So guys, I'm Sheshan Dias. You can call me Sheshan. You can call me Sir, whatever you are comfortable with, right? Anything works. Now, just to give you an idea, when I first got into the profession of being a speaker, it was not that I had this talent from the time I was young. It's not something that was God-given. It's something that I built up for myself. Because when I was in school, I used to be quite nervous. I remember the first time that I got in front of an audience and I had to speak. It was actually at church. I was about, this is what I can remember, right? I mean, I obviously would have spoken in front of crowds before that. But one incident that I specifically remember was when I was about 13 years old, I had to deliver the prayers of the faithful at church. I don't know how many of you are Catholics, but we have this thing where we have to deliver the prayers of the faithful at church. And you have to sing it to a melody, right? So now I'm looking at the audience, and I was on stage, I was on the altar, and I started singing this, right? I was so off pitch that first of all, the pianist stopped playing and he started looking at me in a weird way. Then the priest who was sitting down also started to turn and look at me. And I felt so embarrassed. I felt so bad, right? But I had no choice. I had to continue what I was doing. But at that moment, I lost my train of thought. I couldn't read. I couldn't say anything. I just got off the altar and I left. I've never been more embarrassed in front of a crowd as much as I was on that day. But I thought to myself, you know what? Mistakes happen. Sometimes you fail. Sometimes you don't get to be the best. But the important thing is that you move on. That is also what my parents told me. Fortunately, my parents didn't penalize me or say I was really bad at speaking in front of an audience. They encouraged me and they said, don't worry about it. Do a better job next time and hopefully you'll do well, right? Thankfully, that was good advice because I started putting myself out there and started doing more and more opportunities, or started getting more and more opportunities to speak in front of a crowd. This is me as a prefect of my college, St. Peter's College. I think this was again at church. This was a church function. Seem to be doing a lot of events at church, right? But I started doing more and more events at school. I started saying the official prayers at school. I started comparing events at school. And I started putting myself out there. I wasn't the best, but I was definitely getting opportunities. And I was definitely making use of the opportunities that were given to me. One thing that I really loved when I was in school was I got into theater, right? And being in theater, getting into stage productions was something that really transformed the way I spoke. Now I was not just some random person delivering monotonous speeches. Now I knew how to add vocal variations. I knew how to bring in hand gestures. I knew how to bring in body language. I knew how to use my theater experience when I became a speaker. So these are some of the productions that I've taken part in. This actually we did last year in 2024. So even out of school, even today, I'm taking part in different shows. We're actually doing another show at the Hilton on the 12th, right? So theater is a big part of my life. And I use my experience from theater to teach other people how they can speak confidently, how they can present themselves confidently in front of an audience. So guys, once I left school, the first job I got into was at Gold FM, right? I got into Gold FM as a news presenter. I don't know how many of you have, I know the younger ones are not big fans of Gold FM. Hassan, I'm sure you're a fan of Sun FM or Kiss FM. I don't know even if you listen to radio at all, right? But I know some of the older gentlemen, the older ladies are big fans of Gold FM. And I used to be one of their senior news presenters, right? And that is where I really honed my skill, because up until that point, I was more familiar with hosting events. I was more familiar with speaking in different engagements, but I had never done presenting. So Gold FM gave me an opportunity to build a different skill as a public speaker. So I got into news presenting. I started improving myself as a radio presenter. So that was a big opportunity that I got. And that also gave me so many new opportunities as a compeer, right? So I started getting into comparing while I was in school, right? So from the time I was in school, I was comparing different events, AGMs, corporate events, parties, weddings, and so on. Everything that came my way, I started doing. Prize givings, a lot of different events. And I built practical skills that were necessary to become a good public speaker, right? Then I got into corporate training. I started training university students, school children, and then I started doing my own training under my own brand, the Success Academy, right? So first I got into public speaking training. Then we got into IELTS training and spoken English training as well. So these are the different services that we offer through my academy, the Success Academy. And mainly during COVID, we got into IELTS, right? Most of you would have heard of the IELTS exam. This is the exam that is required when you're going abroad, right? And I mainly got into IELTS, and over the past 3 years, successfully, we have helped more than 300 plus students get through the IELTS exam with band 7+ scores, right? That is an achievement I'm very proud of. and that I like to share even on my public speaking webinars, although it has no relevance here, right? But I think it's a good achievement because that gives you an idea of who I am as a teacher, right? I'm not someone that gets people to join my classes and then say, you figure it out by yourself. No, I come behind you, I keep bothering you, I keep calling you because I want you to improve, right? That is who I am as a teacher, right? With this, I also got into the corporate sector, right? So today, aside from being the head lecturer of the Success Academy, I'm also the head of operations of a cybersecurity company called Better Cyber Career. And what I want you to note here is that I have 0 qualifications in cybersecurity. I got this job as the head of operations, not as an intern, not as a manager, not as anything else, but the head of operations of a cybersecurity company simply because I'm a good speaker and I can motivate teams. I can put teams together. I can get people to work together. I can handle operations well, right? But I credit this mainly to my ability of speaking. And that is why I always tell people, even when we hire people for our company, even when we hire people to the Success Academy, to Better Cyber Career, wherever, one thing I always say is if you can speak well, you're already 70% guaranteed to land the job. Because no matter how skilled you are technically, right, most job roles require you to communicate with top management. It requires you to communicate with customers. It requires you to communicate with suppliers. And if you can't communicate, your skill alone is not going to help you out. Make sense? All right, guys, I see some of you drawing on my screen. I don't know why people do that. Please don't. Right? Okay. So that is just a bit about myself. So guys, you can see my educational qualifications. I'm not going to highlight it too much here, but one thing I want to show you is that I also have a licentiate in public speaking. This is the highest level that a public speaking graduate can achieve from the University of West London. So I'm not just coming to you as someone that has built my life around public speaking practically, but I also have the educational qualifications to back it up. All right. So before I get into the lesson today, just let me give you a very quick overview of my 4-month coaching program. What we do is we give you a very clear understanding of how you can become a confident speaker in 4 months, right? I guarantee, this is something I can guarantee, if you follow my teachings, if you are someone that does the work I tell you to do, whatever fear you have, whatever lack of vocabulary you have, whatever other problems you have when it comes to speaking in front of a crowd will disappear. That's a guarantee. You also get to be a part of a supportive community, which means you'll have other students, you'll have other people commenting on your speeches, giving you encouragement, helping you out in whatever way they can so that you can get the full use of the community that we have here at the Success Academy. You also get direct coaching from me, which means even though you're joining a group class, I'm not going to just now, this webinar is different because I have 100 or 200 people on this webinar. So obviously I can't get 200 people to speak on this webinar today. But when you join my classes, we have a very limited number of people, right? Because in the class, I want to get everyone to speak. I get everyone to send me videos throughout the week. We give you personalized individual attention to help you improve, right? We also set you up with opportunities, which means if you want to get into comparing, any comparing gig that comes my way that I don't do, I usually pass it on to my students, right? So this is something that I send across to the students. We also have a podcast on YouTube where we get students to join and we have a conversation with them. So it's a great opportunity for those of you that want to maybe promote your business or maybe just showcase your talents as a speaker. Plus, you also get a qualification, a diploma qualification at the end of our training from a foreign ministry approved awarding body. So we'll give you more details on that later. For those of you that stay to the end of our webinar today, that stay the full 2 hours, I'm also going to give you a free book on public speaking mastery. So even if you don't join our program, you can still read the book, get some tips, tricks, knowledge on how to improve yourself as a speaker. All right. So before I move forward, can I ask you to type one thing on the chat box? I want you to put a quick comment as to what is the biggest challenge you face when speaking in front of a crowd. Quickly put that comment into the chat box. Okay, the biggest challenge that you face when you have to speak in front of a crowd. Nervous, lack of, okay, nervous, stuck, nervous, vocabulary, right words are not coming, automatically hands are shivering. Okay. Shy, grammar, lack of fluency, nervous, anxious, nervous. Okay. Guys, if you are here today and your biggest problem is that you get nervous, if it is that when you are at a meeting, when you are at a conference, when you are at an interview, the words don't come, your mind goes blank, your tongue gets tied, you don't know what to say. If you're a student who has to deliver speeches in front of your university colleagues, if you have to deliver presentation, if you have to do debates, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a CEO, if you're a manager who has to lead a team, increase sales in your company, or manage people, then this is for you. Because at the end of today, you will understand how to deliver a good speech. That is number one. At the end of today, you will understand 5 mistakes that you can fix if you want to be a better speaker. If you actually implement what I teach you today by yourself, I guarantee you will improve your speaking skills. You don't even need to come for the class. If you actually implement by yourself what I teach you today. Make sense? Good. All right, so we are about to start. I want you to put a quick yes if you're ready to get into the lesson today. Number 1, we will be discussing how to structure a speech, and I want you to say yes. There we go. I love the energy. Fantastic. I love it. All right. So guys, the first thing we're going to talk about is what is public speaking. Now, before I go here, let me just ask somebody. All right, you're here. Everyone is here to learn what public speaking is. So, I mean, you have to know what public speaking is, right? Let me ask some. Chaturika. Chaturika did not expect that I would call her. Okay, Chaturika, tell me, what is public speaking?
Public speaking, first of all, good evening. Public speaking is the way we communicate with the people, a big audience. It depends. But how we are communicating with the people, how we expose our I'm making I didn't expect you call me because I suddenly joined.
I think
that is the
I
kind of
someone else called Chaturika because the face I'm looking at is not the face that answered. Right?
really. Really.
That's okay. Don't worry. That's okay.
You would have called someone else. Here, another Chandrika is there.
Yeah, I said Chaturika, not Chandika.
You asked Chaturika to talk now.
Yes, I did.
I heard excuse me then, let her to talk. I'll talk later.
No problem. That's good. Your answer was correct, right? You gave a good answer. Well done. You said you just joined, right? But you still gave a fantastic answer. So, Chaturika, what about you? Do you have anything to add on to that answer?
Public speaking is someone we give the message to others and sharing our knowledge and everything.
Correct. So both of y'all, both Chandika and Chaturika, mentioned two separate but valuable things about what public speaking is. It's important to note that public speaking is delivering a message. So Chaturika, you're correct. It's delivering a message to a group of people, two or more people, right? Ideally, a large group of people. But when you build up your public speaking skills, automatically you become better at speaking to a smaller crowd as well. 2 people, 3 people. You overall build up your communication confidence, right? So public speaking, if I put it into a definition, is the process of delivering a speech or a message to a live audience in a structured manner to inform, entertain, persuade, or demonstrate an idea to them. Very simply, now this is a structured answer, or this is a structured definition. But if I were to break it down very simply, public speaking is your ability to deliver a message to a group of people. Now, the objective of that could be to inform these people, like I am doing today. I'm teaching you, I'm informing you. Or to entertain. Hopefully, I will entertain you as well with a few jokes here and there. And to persuade. Now, I hope to do that as well at the end of the webinar today. Or demonstrate an idea to them. Now, you don't have to have all of these objectives in your message. Just 1, 2. If you want, you could have 3 objectives. Now, I'm speaking for 2 hours today. So if I'm just informing you, you might get bored. So I have to crack a joke. And I have to surprise people like I surprised Chaturika today. Right? And I have to persuade you to do something at the end of the webinar today. Makes sense? So that is what public speaking is. Delivering a message to a group of people. Makes sense? Very simply. But this is a more structured definition. Right? Now, the purpose of public speaking. Now, understanding this purpose is very important. It's very important. Because a lot of people, I mean, when you go to events, right? It could be a corporate event. It could be a function at your company, whatever it is. Some people, when they get on stage, just talk for the sake of talking. Right? In Sinhala, we say, Kiyannang vale kiyawana. Right? They just talk. They have no objective. They have no purpose. But if you are ever addressing a gathering, if you are ever addressing a group of people, your speech, your message, your idea should have a purpose. There should be a purpose that people can positively react to. Right? My purpose today is twofold. Number 1, I want to show you how you can become a better speaker. Right? And number 2, I would also like you to join our program so that I can confidently guarantee that I can make you a better speaker. Do you understand what I mean? So every time you speak in front of an audience, some of you said you're a lecturer or you're lecturers, right? If you're a lecturer, you have to convince your students to do something at the end of your class. Either that could be to study or to do their homework or to pass their exams well. If you're a businessman, you have to convince your customers to buy your product, right? If you are, let's say, even an HR professional, you have to convince the employees to work for the betterment of the company. You have to convince your team to work for the betterment of the company. Wherever you are in life, if you have to speak to a group of people, you should make sure that there is a purpose behind it and that they should take positive action regarding your message. Is that clear? Very important. All right. Now, let me tell you the 3 pillars that make a good public speech and that build up a good public speaker. Okay. Ethos, pathos, and logos. You might be wondering what kind of Greek is that? Thankfully, it is Greek, right? It's the 3 Greek words that have built the pillar or pillars of public speaking. So let me one by one break down what these are, and you can think to yourself, do I have these? When I have spoken in front of an audience, have I had these? Right? You can think this to yourself. Number 1, ethos. What does ethos mean? Ethos means your credibility as a speaker. When I started this webinar, I gave you a background about myself. Why did I do that? I told you, I don't want you to think this is some random person doing some random class. No, I am a professional in my field, right? I have been a news presenter. I have compared events. I'm still a compeer. I'm an event host, right? I'm a YouTube presenter. I have my own channel and I present for other channels as well. I have my own podcast, right? I run my own academy and I'm qualified, right? So I have credibility to be a public speaking trainer, to be teaching you how to speak in public. But imagine there was a finance conference and all of you are going to attend. The first speaker, the first 4 hours of that conference, I am going to present on how to manage personal finance. Second part of the conference, Mr. Dhammika Pereira is going to present the next 4 hours. If you all come for my one, I think you all need to go and see a doctor. Okay? Because who knows more about personal finance? Who knows more about wealth management? Obviously not me. It's Dhammika Pereira, one of the richest men in the country. Do you understand what I mean? People always give respect, people always give their attention to people that they hold credible, right? So whenever you are addressing a gathering, you need to have some sort of credibility, right? A lot of people get scared. A lot of people get afraid when they speak in front of an audience. Why? I've seen this a lot. And I use this example because I am also a teacher. I see a lot of teachers having this problem, right? Why? Now, when teachers teach students, small students, right? They know they have the credibility. The teacher has done their degree or masters. They know these are what? 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds. They have no qualifications. I obviously have the knowledge. So to me, they are inferior. Right? They don't have the credibility that I have. I have credibility to teach these students. Sometimes I have seen those same teachers, if you put them up in front of an assembly, right? If you put them up in front of a gathering of parents, now they are folding their hands, saying, they're getting stuck. They lose credibility. Or at least in their mind, their credibility drops. Because they think, okay, I'm qualified to teach the students. How can I speak to the parents? Right? I have seen this to my own eyes. I have teachers in my class that have told me that that is the case. Right? It happens to everybody. It would happen to me if I spoke in front of a group of finance professionals about personal wealth management. I have zero credibility. I would be nervous. I would be afraid. I would be scared because I have no credibility. I have no knowledge. I have not studied this. Do you understand what I mean? So whenever we have to speak in front of an audience, think about how credible am I to speak about this topic? When you're delivering things like a vote of thanks, when you have to deliver something like let's say a farewell speech, when you have to deliver a presentation at your university, ask yourself, do I need credibility to do this? If so, what is the credibility I need? All I need is knowledge. Am I right? To do a university presentation, you don't have to be a PhD holder, you're a student. So if you have the right knowledge and if you have practiced, that is your credibility. To deliver a vote of thanks, you don't have to be the president of the country. Whoever it is, even a 14-year-old can deliver a vote of thanks. It's not a problem. Right? I see Hassan, I think you're ready to deliver any vote of thanks at any point. Right? Okay, so you have to understand, okay, what is the credibility that I need for my speaking engagement? Certain events would require a lot of credibility. Certain things don't require a lot of credibility. But depending on the event, your credibility is going to be very important for people to take you seriously. So that's something to keep in mind. Then there is something called pathos. Okay, what is pathos? Pathos is the connection you build with your audience. Now, when I started this webinar, I started 5 minutes early and I spoke with 1 or 2 of you. I am fairly certain, right, at least 95% sure that the people I spoke to, the 4 people I spoke to, will not leave this webinar till it's done. Hassan, you better not get sleepy and leave halfway through. Right? Why did I do that? Because I wanted you to know and I wanted you to see that this is real. I'm building an emotional connection with you. You would have seen even in TED Talks, right? Vijay Nayaka said he wants to deliver a TED Talk one day. Right? Vijay Nayaka, keep in mind when you start, you can create an emotional bond with your audience. You can ask them a question. You can tell them a story that they will relate to. Now, I am calling you by name. Vijay Nayak, it makes you feel good, right? In front of 200 people. When I mention your name, whoever I am, it still makes you feel a little important. It makes you feel connected to me. You can unmute yourself and say if I'm wrong. Am I right?
You are totally correct.
Exactly. Pathos means building an emotional connection with your audience. The main way to do this is twofold. Number one, you tell people stories. When I tell you the story, or when I told you the story of Mahanam or Shenal at the start of this webinar, some of you would have thought to yourself, hey, I was also someone that studied in Sinhala medium. I was scared. I was afraid. So if Sheshan helped this friend become a compeer, become an MC, become someone that sent me that video, maybe he can help me too. That's an emotional connection. By asking you questions in the middle, by calling you out, by having a conversation with you, by surprising people like I did to Chaturika, and then Chandika answered, right? It creates a bond. It creates a connection. I'll tell you a little story. So there was a researcher that wanted to find out the importance of storytelling, right? So what he did was he went on Amazon and he purchased a number of useless products, right? He purchased like used pins, used remote controls, plastic bottles, things like that. Okay. And his total bill came up to $42. $42. He purchased 17 items. Okay. He purchased 17 items for $42. Clear? Then what he did was these same items, he got 17 of his friends who were writers to write a backstory about these items. Right? So, for example, he said this remote was a remote that goes back to the time of King Charles II, and it was passed down from the king all the way down to the next generation. Similar, that's not true, that's not a part of the story, but he created a backstory for each product. Okay? And he resold these 17 items again on Amazon for $7,650. From 42 to 7,650. The only difference was that he added a story. Do you understand what I mean? People connect with storytellers. Who are the best storytellers in the country today? Who are the best storytellers in the world today? Let me ask someone. If you give the correct answer, you get a gift. All right, let me ask someone that hasn't connected with me. Shanika. Shanika, can you hear me? Shanika, okay, I can't see Shanika moving, so I'm assuming you're not there. Naomi, okay, Naomi, I see you very interested. I see you nodding your head. Can you tell me who the best storytellers are? I can't hear you, you're on mute. Can you unmute? Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, you can unmute now. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know much about this, but I think Oprah Winfrey, I think I've heard story about her. Is that right?
Oprah Winfrey is definitely a good storyteller. But what I'm asking is, in general, as a group of people, who are the best storytellers?
It's politicians.
Ah, who said that?
Politics.
That is 100% correct. Politicians are the best storytellers. Why? They do everything corrupt under the sun. But they still come in the next election. They tell the most craziest stories. And they get thousands, tens of thousands, millions of people to cast them their vote. Until the end, okay, I'll use this name since this is a name we all know. Until the end of the Rajapaksha dynasty, they will keep promoting the end of the war. Now, yes, definitely they did that. But did their sons do it? No. Did their grandsons do it? No. Did their great-grandsons do it? No. But I guarantee 70 years from now, their great-grandson will also say, Mage kirikitta tamai, awudu tihaka yuddha ivara kala, ratata samaya genave. And what will your great-grandchildren and my great-grandchildren do? They'll say, oh yes, and go and cast the ballot. Right now in the world, who is the best storyteller? Donald J. Trump. How did that man come back to power? Whatever he had so many lawsuits against him while running for the presidency. Right? While running for the presidency, he had so many lawsuits against him. Tax fraud, rape allegations, everything. How did he come to power? He told stories. He connected with people. He told the American people exactly what they wanted to hear. He said, I will put the immigrants out. I will build a wall. And all of them wanted that wall. Eventually, he's not building a wall. He's causing more wars than there was before. And, but still, he has an excuse for everything. When you build that emotional connection with people, they will do anything. They will clap for you. They'll cheer for you. They will know that you are a good speaker. Right? So pathos is important. Whenever you are delivering a speech, think about it. In any event that you go to, if they start telling you a story, will you not enjoy it? A past experience, something that happened during the event. If they tell you that story, people love listening to it. Right? So if you have credibility as a speaker, and if you can tell people a nice story, a good experience, if you can connect with them by asking them questions, that is a pillar that will build you up to being a great speaker. The final one is logos. Logos means the one thing that most politicians don't have. What? Factual accuracy. Right? One of our politicians recently had gone and said, we have won a Nobel Prize for, I think, the most expensive tea or something. I'm not entirely sure, but it was completely incorrect. He didn't know what a Nobel Prize was. Right? So, logos means being able to factually back up what you are saying. Include logical points in your speech so that people have some value to take home. Right? Stats, figures, crucial points that people would need to know in your speech is called logos. Make sense? So if you are backing up your stories, if you are backing up your credibility with good information, people will generally regard you as a good speaker. Right? So if you can give good logical points, back it up with stories, and have credibility as a speaker, then you will come off as a confident public speaker. Is that clear? Okay. Any questions before I move on? If it was clear, can you put a yes into the chat box? Naomi has said Trump is a good marketer. Definitely. Right? Someone has said repeating the lie frequently and getting into power. Yes. Those are politicians. Right? Okay. Good. So I see a lot of you saying yes. So I'm assuming most of you have understood what was being said. Great. All right. So guys, let me quickly outline the importance of public speaking. Right? According to Forbes, now this is me again. I gave you an example in this webinar for credibility. I gave you an example in this webinar for pathos, or building a connection. So here is my example for logos, right? Public speaking has been one of the most invaluable skills in the corporate world, right? According to Forbes, 70% of employers, right? 70% of employed professionals say that presentation skills are critical for career success. Now, I get a lot of corporate professionals coming in once they hit the managerial level to improve their speaking skills, because what got them the job was their technical skill. I get a lot of software engineers, right? Doctors, simply because of their skill, their technical skill, their knowledge, they can land the jobs. They can move up to a certain point. But to lead a team, to be in touch or be in communication with upper management, you need to be able to speak well, right? You need to be able to present well. You need to be able to communicate your ideas well, right? Sometimes in companies, I mean, I don't know if you have had this experience, but sometimes you would see that it's not the most hardworking person or the most talented person that gets the promotion. It's the person that has talent. You can't obviously be brainless and move up the ladder. You have to have a certain level of talent, but they communicate their work better, right? Someone with 100% talent will always get beaten by someone with 80% talent and better speaking skills. Does that make sense? You would have seen this to your own eyes, maybe even in your own companies. People that speak well move up the ladder faster, right? Cambridge University has done a study where they have said 95% of successful leaders consider public speaking essential to their success, right? And a study done by Harvard showed that 70% of all jobs in some form require public speaking. I mean, you think about it. If you look at sales, you look at marketing, you look at HR, you look at any role that goes past a managerial position, even if you get into finance, if you get into tech, once you hit that manager level, if you can't speak, it becomes tough, becomes challenging. That's when people realize the value of speaking and start looking for programs to help themselves improve, right? Learning how to speak well helps you stand out, makes you a better personality, right? It helps you engage your audience. It helps you think on your feet. A lot of the time, when you have to speak in front of a crowd, people get stuck because they don't know how to critically think, put their thoughts into words, and communicate. This is something a lot of people get stuck with. I see you nodding your head. I see some of you nodding your head, right? By mastering the skill of speaking in front of a crowd, you will open up so many opportunities for yourself. Because one of the things that stops us, one of the things that limits us is just our own thoughts. A lot of you said you are nervous, you are shy, you are scared. All of these are not real things. These are all in your head. You think you're scared. You think you're shy. Everybody thinks they're shy. I think I'm shy. I think I'm nervous. If I keep thinking that, I'll never be doing what I'm doing. So I first condition my mind to think positively, right? And that is a big advantage of being a good communicator. It helps you think positively. It helps you transition or transform the way you think so that whenever you have to speak in front of an audience, you don't get shy. You don't get nervous. You think positively about yourself and you speak confidently. And when you do, the way people perceive you becomes different, becomes more positive. Makes sense? So what I'm going to teach you now is how to structure a good speech. And I've put the greatest speaker that exists in the world right now, Mr. Trump, right? To show you how to structure a winning speech. So whenever you have to deliver a speech anywhere, if you're delivering a keynote speech, if you have to deliver a vote of thanks, if you have to deliver a farewell speech, if you have to deliver a toast at a wedding, whatever the instance may be, maybe you want to deliver a presentation, a university presentation, whatever it is, you can use this speech structure. Okay, you can use this speech structure. So let me give you the secret now. Let me give you the secret speech structure. This is something you've never heard about. The first thing you have to do when you're starting a speech is to give an introduction. Right? Is to give an introduction. Now you must be thinking, I already knew that. What is he talking about? That's not a secret. Right? True. But how do you give an introduction? We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this. Next, you greet the audience. Now, this is a bit different, right? Because usually, most of us are used to the greeting coming first, right? Most of us are used to the greeting coming first. So let me give you an example. When I was in school, we used to do this game. At every assembly, when our most reverend Father Rector comes to deliver his speech, we used to try and mimic the exact words that he was going to start his speech with. because all of us, there were, I think, 6,000 odd students at St. Peter's College. All 6,000 of them knew exactly how every father rector that we've had at college was going to start their speech. I'll tell you how he started. Reverend fathers, reverend sisters, members of the tutorial staff, members of the non-tutorial staff, and my dear boys. For 13 years of college, every single assembly that we have had, that is how they started the speech, right? And so we knew that from the very get-go, and we used to start falling asleep the moment he started talking, right? Most people in the corporate world, wherever you go, most people start by greeting the audience. One of the best speeches that I've heard was when I was comparing an event. It was an auto show event, right? And there was this gentleman, Mr. Rohan Palletan. I don't know how many of you know him. He's a business personality, a businessman in Sri Lanka. And from what I know of him, he was the one that created the sensor for the airbag in vehicles, right? Mr. Rohan Palletan. So he's very wealthy, he's a very popular businessman. And this was a very serious event. The Italian ambassador was there. There were politicians. There were the Auto Mirage owner. All of these big auto show guys were there. And he got on stage with a guitar. And he started singing a song. Now, I would like to say that he was a great singer as much as he was a businessman, but unfortunately, he was not, right? His song was mediocre to say the least. But the entire audience stopped what they were doing. They put down their phones. They stopped talking to the person next to them. They put down their cocktail glass. They put down their food to see what was happening on stage. They wanted to see why this billionaire businessman is getting on stage at a very serious corporate event and singing a song. I was shocked. It was actually one of the first big events that I had compared. And I would never have done that. I was, I would never have done that. So I was also shocked. And he stopped his song after about 40 or 50 seconds. And he said, now do I have everyone's attention? And then he started greeting the audience. It was beautiful, right? And throughout his entire speech, he used every good public speaking skill that there was to be used. He told us stories. He told about his experiences. Right? And by telling us those stories, he built up his credibility because he built himself up to be this top businessman. Right? He backed up his speech with logical points, with things that people could take home. It was amazing. Right? But he could have delivered that exact speech without the song, and he wouldn't have got the attention of everybody. So this introduction, making sure your audience is hooked from the introduction itself, can make a big difference in how people listen to you and pay attention to you, right? So introduction, greeting, body, and you have a conclusion. So this is your basic speech structure. But let's get into each one and see how we can deliver each one well. Okay. When it comes to delivering a good introduction, now obviously, even I'm not going to go in front of an audience and sing a song, because if I sing, people will leave, right? So I don't want that to happen, right? And I think for most events and most occasions, that might not be appropriate, right? Going up there and singing might not be the best way to start a speech. Now, he could pull it off because he is who he is. But obviously, for us that don't have that same level of credibility, might be tough. So here are some really good ways that you can start any speech. All right? Number one, you can start by using a popular quote. Popular quote. What is a popular quote? It is a popular saying, a saying by a famous person. For example, if you're going to talk about the importance of knowledge or the importance of reading books, you could say something simple like reading makes a full man, right? Maybe if you're going to talk at a health convention, you could say early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? You could start with a quote like that. When you start with a quote, you get people's attention immediately because everyone is expecting you to greet the audience first and say a very good evening, everybody, chief guest, parents, whoever, you first greet. Everybody greets. But if you start with something different, you hook the audience, right? Number two is a story. So anecdote means a short story. All right. So this is a different word for short story. Anecdote, a short story. You'd see a lot of TED Talks happening this way. A lot of TED Talks happen by a story, or they start off with a nice story that is obviously related to the speech. Makes sense? A lot of TED Talks, a lot of Toastmasters talks. If you've heard Toastmaster competitions, a lot of them start off with a story. Makes sense? Oof, this one is a tough one to pull off, especially for those of us that are not very funny, like myself. I never start off with jokes because if the joke hits, great. The audience will laugh, you're happy, you feel confident, fantastic. If the joke does not hit and the audience doesn't laugh, that is stressful, right? So unless you have a really good joke, you don't want to start off with this. But you can always plan out your joke, you can prepare, and if you can start off by making the audience laugh, that's it. The audience will listen to you the entire time. Makes sense? So this is a great way to start a speech. Next, you can ask questions. Rhetorical questions are questions for which you do not require a response. You get the audience to think. You could ask something along the lines of, think about the biggest challenge or the biggest challenge you face when you speak in front of an audience. Right? Now, when you speak to a large gathering and you can't get them to respond, you can ask them a rhetorical question, a question to which you do not require an answer. Or you could even ask a regular question. Now, when I started by asking you questions. This is a way that I love to start, even at a corporate event or so on. I just get people to either raise their hand or at the very least, I get them to think. Because I know for a fact, when you ask people a question, whatever they are doing, whoever they are, they'll start to think, right? And that gets them interested in what I have to say, right? So I believe this is one of the safest and best ways in which you can start your speech. Quotes are probably the second most common and easiest ways to start a speech. Short stories are also great. It builds up pathos. It builds up that emotional connection right from the start. So that's good. Jokes are the riskiest, but if you can pull it off, probably the best. Makes sense? So here is how. The next time, whatever speech you deliver, it could be, like I said, a keynote speech. It could be a farewell speech. It could be a vote of thanks. It could be a toast at a wedding. It could be even at a sales presentation or a meeting of some sort. If you can start by asking a question. So obviously, now if you're at a very serious, let's say you're pitching your company's services to a foreign company. You don't want to start by telling a quote. People will think you're mad, right? You have to choose what is appropriate to the occasion. If you're doing a pitch deck and you want to pitch to a company, you can start by asking them a question. What is the biggest challenge when it comes to your marketing? If I'm presenting myself as a marketing agency, I can start by asking that, because then I know now when I ask you to post your biggest challenge when it comes to speaking. Now, when I talk and when I teach, I'm hitting those challenges. I'm addressing those challenges. Do you get it? So you have to understand what suits your purpose best, select one and go for it. Does that make sense? Don't go to one of the biggest sales conventions in the world, right? And start with a quote or sing a song, right? And say, Sheshan Dias told us to do this, right? You have to choose your introduction wisely in a way that will hook your audience from the start. Does that make sense? Right. Then, before we go to the body, obviously, you greet the audience, right? So, after your introduction, you greet the audience that is there. Then you move on to your body, all right? In your body, the best way that you can connect with the audience, that you can get the audience to engage with you, understand what you're saying, get them to nod, is if you tell them stories that they can relate to. It could be a popular story, right? When I spoke today, I told you the story about how one man flipped 17 items and made it into a massive profit. Now, that's not my story. That's a story that is on the internet, right? So it's a popular story. You can also use your personal stories. Stories that people will understand and resonate with, right? If you're someone that was afraid of speaking in public, if you're someone that had the fears that I spoke about at the start of this webinar, you were probably nodding your head and resonating or understanding what I was saying. So it's a great way to build a connection with your audience. This is important to give audience good information, facts and figures. If you can put these facts and figures into your story, because that is what will give the audience confidence in what you are saying. That is what will get the audience to trust what you're saying. Because you're not just telling them stories, you're backing your stories up with facts and figures. And you can put in any additional details to fill in the gaps. Make sense? What is important is when you're delivering a speech. Now, unless you're doing a webinar like I am, where you have to speak for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, where it's a very lengthy period of time, most speeches would probably be less than 20 minutes, right? Maximum 30 minutes. What you want to do is give people easy tips, easy points to remember and understand. So ideally, if you have less than 5 points in your speech, that would be great, right? So 5 things. Now, even when I started this webinar, I told you I'm going to outline the 5 biggest mistakes that are keeping you back from speaking. And I'm going to do that in just a bit. So even if you forget the speech structure, even if you forget the other things, ethos, pathos, logos, those things that I spoke about, these 5 things are going to stay in your head. Does that make sense? That is how you get people to understand. You give them a number, and then you put stories and you use certain tips and tricks to make sure they remember those important points, right? So if anyone asks you, what is the biggest takeaway from the webinar today? What I want you to talk about is not the speech structure, not about the 3 pillars of public speaking. It's mainly the 5 points that I'm going to outline after this. Make sense? So you'll see what those are. So always remember, whenever you're delivering a speech, if it's maybe a 5-minute or 10-minute speech, keep your points less, maybe 2 points maximum. If it's a 5-minute speech, just 1 point, right? If it's about 30 minutes, then you can consider bringing about 4 to 5 points in, because you have to elaborate a bit more. Makes sense? But whatever point you're bringing out, try to back it up with stories, facts, figures, and so on. Makes sense? Finally, when you are concluding your speech, make sure to summarize what you say, right? So you would have noticed when I spoke about ethos, pathos, and logos, I first spoke about ethos. I then spoke about pathos. Then I reminded you about pathos and ethos both. Then only I went to logos. Then I reminded you of all three. Does that make sense? So when you summarize your points at the end of what you are trying to say, people remember it better. Right? You might not exactly remember the definitions, but the words ethos, pathos, and logos will stick in your mind. Because I have been repeating it, I have been summarizing it again and again throughout this webinar. If you go to someone else's public speaking webinar 4-5 years from now, and they teach you about ethos, pathos, and logos, and they ask you what it was, at the very least you will say, I attended another webinar about 5 years ago. I remember those words, and I know it has something to do with the pillars of public speaking. Does that make sense? So you always summarize your points at the end of your speech so that people get a quick summary, a quick snapshot of everything you said. Then you deliver your final thoughts and opinions, and you wrap it up with a powerful closing sentence. This could again be a quote. This could be a nice message that you get people to remember and take home. Make sense? So from today, whatever speech that you're going to deliver needs to have an introduction that comes first to grab the attention of the people. It could be a joke, it could be a quote, it could be a short story, it could be a question. You start off with that powerful introduction. Then you greet the audience. Then you come to the body paragraph where you highlight your points and tell a story. And then you conclude your speech. Make sense? All right. Next, I want you to think for yourself, what benefits would you gain if you learned how to speak well? I want you to type that into the chat box. If you could become the best speaker that you could be, if you could speak confidently in front of anyone, what would that mean to you? How would that impact your career? Would you get better teaching opportunities? Would you get a better salary? Would you get better engagements? Would you get chances to go abroad? Someone says sky is the limit. Someone says it's excellent. Door to more opportunities, the door to everything. A better engagement, everything. Okay, I can be a chartered person in my career. Great. Right, what else? I would like to see some who benefits. Be a good leader. Be a good manager. Right? Get respect, get better salary, deliver proper information. Good. Confidence in the message. Nice. Guys, public speaking or being able to speak confidently, it will change everything, right? It will change everything. It will open doors for you that you didn't even believe could be opened, right? It has for me. Simply being able to speak well has opened up so many doors that would not have opened if I couldn't speak the way I can. Help so many students do the same thing. So now let me get to the 5 mistakes, the 5 things that are holding you back from being a confident speaker. Right? These are the 5 mistakes that are holding you back. Number 1, how many of you do this? Can you put a yes if this is you? You think about what other people think about you. You think about what other people, I want you to say yes. If this is you, right? If this is you, I want you to say yes. Naomi, do you think about what Vijay Nayaka is going to think? Gerard, think about what Hassan is going to think. Amarasiri, are you going to think about what Ayesh has to think? Right? Some of you are saying, no, that is fantastic. I love it. Someone has actually said no. Brilliant. Right? Asha says no. Asha, that is fantastic. If this is not stopping you from being a good speaker, you're already there. You don't need to do anything else. Because this is the number one fear. This is the number one mistake that people make when it comes to speaking in front of an audience. They are afraid of what other people think about them. They are worried about making mistakes. They are worried about making grammatical errors. They are worried about not having the right vocabulary. Guys, this is the most unnecessary fear that you need to have. And the only way to fix it, and the only way to build your confidence is to practice, right? The more you practice, the better you're going to become. Obviously, if you're going to deliver a speech in front of 1,000 people and you have never practiced that speech a day in your life, obviously you're going to feel scared. Obviously, you're going to feel nervous. Do you understand what I mean? So if you practice well enough, you can get rid of this fear of other people's opinions. And trust me, one thing I do in my 4-month coaching program is I constantly keep telling you to stop worrying about what people have to say and just let go. Because in our program, we do a lot of things that make you very uncomfortable. I get you to deliver poems. I get you to do prose reading, acting, some crazy stuff. And that is going to remove your fear, right? It's all in the mind. Conditioning the mind is the first thing that you have to do. Because our fear is just up here. We are scared of something that hasn't even happened. And if we can change that, the sky is the limit. So the number one fear is worrying about other people's opinions. And trust me, I guarantee that if you put your trust in me, I can help you get rid of that. But even if you don't, you can get rid of it yourself by practicing to be a better speaker and making use of the speaking opportunities that come your way. You can do it completely by yourself. You don't need anyone else's help, because if you practice, if you are prepared, you will not be nervous. This is another great mistake that people do. I've seen a lot of people do it. I don't know how many of you have done it. Don't say yes if you have done it. Right? Most people take a piece of paper up on stage and they read it. Now, taking a piece of paper is okay, right? Even when I come here, we take a flip chart, we take a clip chart, and we go on stage, right? We have our notes, we have points to talk about. But you can't read. If you read when you are on stage, you will never engage with an audience. Guys, I am presenting a 2-hour webinar here today, but I don't have any speaker notes here. I'm not reading off speaker notes. I'm looking at the slides. I know exactly what to say, and I communicate with you instead of just reading something off a script. If you are delivering a speech by preparing well and structuring your speech in the format that I taught you, will help you speak better, deliver your speech better, and help you to not read when you get on stage. Make sense? This is a big one. This is the biggest, one of the biggest mistakes that people make, probably next to worrying about other people's opinions. You know, I guess, how many of you do that? When you speak and you get stuck, you fill it with a sound. You say, when I was, 6 years old, there are more fillers in your speech than actual matter. You can't connect with an audience if you're saying, when you speak. Hassan, do you have a question? Okay, let me give you the chance to unmute yourself. Yes, do you have a question?
No, I don't.
Oh, you raised your hand, that's why. Okay. If you don't have, that's fine. All right. Using fillers, guys, if you are saying while you speak, your audience will not connect with you. You come off as not confident. You come off as someone that is not sure or not a professional in what you are saying. So whenever you speak, whenever you are talking, always ensure that you are not saying in your speech. When you're presenting at a sales meeting, when you're presenting to upper management, when you're talking to your clients, when you're talking to your suppliers, when you're delivering a speech in front of thousands of people, saying is the worst thing that you can do. Make sense? How can you get rid of that? Instead of saying you learn to pause. If I say, my name is Sheshan Dias, I'm 30 years old, I live in Moratu and I went to St. Peter's College. If I use fillers in the middle, my name is Sheshan and I am 30 years old. I, went to St. Peter's College and I live in Moratu. That sounds bad. But instead of using those fillers, if I just pause and I say, my name is Sheshan Dias, I am 29 years old, I live in Moratu, and I went to St. Peter's College. I sound a lot better when I say that. The moment you use fillers, you come off as not confident. You come off as someone that is not a professional. You come off as someone that is afraid. Look at any politician and how they deliver their speeches. They don't come on stage and say, and if they do, nobody takes them seriously. They're trained, they practice. They don't just come up there and they practice to not say, Makes sense? So this is something that I definitely can fix because we have helped so many students in the past fix this mistake. And the moment you fix this, immediately you sound better. This is another big problem. Some people, they speak in the same tone. They don't have variations. I'm sure you would have heard speeches like this where people speak in the same tone, no variations, very tough to listen to. It's like listening to a broken tape recorder, right? If you can master your pitch, power, pace, and pause. Pitch is the change in your vocal tones. Power is how loud or how soft you can be. Pace is the speed at which you speak. And pause means pausing to create an effect. If you can master these 4 things, along with a few other vocal variations, you will come off as a very confident, professional speaker, right? Finally, last but not least, as they say, not having any hand gestures, body language, or facial expressions when you speak. A lot of people, when they talk, they look like they're going to die. Right? They look so scared, afraid, like this. Today, I'm here to talk about why you should make me president. No. You need to smile. You need to engage with your audience. You need to have the right facial expressions. You need to have the right body language, hand gestures when you speak with an audience if you want to connect with them, right? So you master good body language, good poise, as they say, good facial expression. So this comes with practice again. The more times you do this, the better you are going to become. So what are the 5 mistakes that you make? Number 1, you are afraid of other people's opinions. How do you fix this? You build up your confidence. Number 2, you read instead of speaking. How do you fix this? You prepare well and you have a proper structure. Third one is that you say when you speak. Never do it. You need to get rid of it and you need to complement it or substitute it with the pause. And finally, you have no vocal variations. Or finally, the fourth one is that you have no vocal variations. You need to master pitch, power, pace, and pause. And finally, you don't have good body language. That's a mistake. You need to have good body language, good facial expressions when speaking to an audience. Guys, these are the 5 things. Worrying about other people's opinions, reading, using fillers, no vocal variations, bad body language, and facial expressions. Okay. I want you to say yes if you can fix the 5 mistakes that I showed you here. Do you think you can become a better speaker? How many of you have these 5 mistakes, and do you think you can be a better speaker if you fix these 5 things? So many of you are saying yes. Someone says, Hassan, what do you say? You fixed them. Right? Good. If you have fixed them, that's great. Right? That's good. A lot of people are saying yes, yes, yes. Lovely, lovely, lovely to see. Guys, here's the thing. Now, I could have just done this webinar. I could have showed you the 5 mistakes and I could have gone away. But I've decided not to do that because I don't want to. That is why I have put together a 4-month public speaking diploma, right? To help you understand how to become the best speaker that you can be. Guys, I want you to put a quick yes. If it's okay, if I run you through a quick 15-minute offer that I have for you today. I have a very special offer for those of you that are here today. And if you want to hear about it, I want you to say yes. Right? I want you to say yes. Fantastic. I'm glad to see this response. Someone said, okay, let's hear it. Great. Great. Thank you. Okay. So guys, my 4-month public speaking diploma will definitely, without a doubt, with a guarantee, help you become the best speaker that you can be. All right. So let me show you the structure of what we plan to do. So like I said, we do this program for 4 months. That is 16 weeks. In the first week, which is the 14th of October, that is next Tuesday, that will be week 1, first day. I'll be talking about how to structure a speech. And unlike the class today, where there's 180 odd people, I will be getting each and every single one of you to deliver a speech in the class. Now, you might be wondering, oh my God, do we have to wait for 10 hours? No, I will only be taking 20 people for this program because that is all we can manage. Right? So only 20 people we will be giving the opportunity to sign up because I want every person to speak in the class. Right? So the spots are very limited. So we will be giving you an introduction to public speaking and how to craft a good speech. Next, we are going to talk about how to deliver a social speech. What is a social speech? A vote of thanks, a toast, a speech that you would deliver in a very social, informal setting. Next, we are going to talk about body language and hand gestures, non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication makes up for 70% of your actual speech, and building that will definitely make you a better speaker. So that is what we're going to discuss on week 3. Week 4 is vocal variations, pitch, power, pace, pause, emphasis, inflections, how to fix all of this. Week 5 is going to be how to fix your fillers, speech exercises so that you don't go when you speak. Week 6 is going to be, this is my favorite, I love this. Introduction to Theatric Performances in Speaking. This is a fun class. Okay, we're going to get you to act, read poetry. It's going to be very fun, right? So it's extremely exciting, at least for me, right? And week 7 is about using visual aids, presentations, objects, different visual aids when you're delivering a speech. We're going to talk about interview skills in week 8, how to face an interview confidently. Week 9 is going to be about breathing skills. Now, when we speak, a lot of us don't breathe properly, which is why we get stuck, which is why we don't know the right places to pause. So week 9 is going to be about breathing techniques. Week 10, impromptu speaking. That means speaking without any preparation. Speaking without any preparation. Week 11 is how to speak clearly. Now, when I speak, you see that you can understand, or you can hear and understand what I am saying. Sometimes when certain people speak, they don't pronounce their words clearly. They don't articulate properly. And as a result, you don't understand what they say. So how and what can you do to build your pronunciation, articulation, and enunciation? Week 12 is going to be strategies to engage an audience. Week 13 is about listening and giving feedback. Week 14 is about personal branding. Guys, I've managed to build up a following of close to more than 100,000 people on social media platforms. On TikTok, we have 100,000 plus. We're building on YouTube, we're building on Instagram. How to personal brand yourself, or how to build your personal brand, is something we're going to discuss on week 14. Week 15 is going to be a mock interview practice. And week 16 is going to be your full exam practice. Makes sense? So this is the exam structure, right? This is what you will be asked at the exam. Number 1, you have to deliver a 6-minute speech that you can choose the topic for, right? Next, you have to deliver a 4-minute speech that is a social speech, a farewell, vote of thanks, or a toast, one of those speeches. Then you have to deliver an impromptu speech for 4 minutes. Section 3 is going to be a sight reading passage, and section 5 is going to be a test on speech theory. This entire exam is spoken. Some of you might feel afraid, some of you might be scared, but don't worry. By the end of our 4 months, you'll be confident to go and face this exam without any fear. And the exam is optional. Now, doesn't mean everyone who joins the class has to sit for the exam. I obviously push you to sit for it because I want you to get qualified. But there may be certain people here that don't really need a qualification. Maybe you guys are top-level businessmen. Maybe you are doctors that don't really need a qualification. You're here because you want to improve your skills. If you follow our structure, if you go through our program, by the end of these 16 weeks, I guarantee you'll be a confident speaker, regardless of whether you go for the exam or not. But if you do sit for the exam, so this exam is offered by the Mystical Rose International Institute, which is a Pearson assured organization. And the diploma that we are offering in public speaking is a Sri Lankan Foreign Ministry approved examination because it's offered by a Pearson assured organization. So this is a sample certificate that you would get. All right. Now, number 1, what do you get in these training sessions? You get 16 live coaching sessions with me. Usually, I charge 7,000 rupees per hour. But that is not going to be the case for this training for you, right? You get 16 live sessions with me. The real value of that, the real cost of that would be 112,000 rupees, but that is not what you are getting today, right? Usually a training like ours, this is not a spoken English program. This is a public speaking diploma. Usually you would pay close to 200 to 400,000 rupees for a diploma like this. But with 16 live coaching sessions, with recorded practice reviews. What does that mean? It means in our classes, I get you to send me recordings of you practicing, and I individually give you feedback on each one. That is why I take only 20 students, because if I take more than 20, I will go mad, right? Because imagine I do about 5 classes a week. That's close to 100 students a week, right? I'll be mind blown. I'll be dead. It's impossible, right? So only 20 students per batch, because I want to give you individual feedback on how to improve yourselves as a speaker. And the diploma exam costs you 25,000 rupees. Now, the real value of this program is 150,000 rupees, but usually we offer it at 89,999. Now, this is a marketing tactic, you know that, for 90,000 rupees. You've seen sales advertisements, you've seen those grocery stores put in 999. That's exactly what we did. 89,999 is what we usually offer this program at. But today, as a very special offer, diploma included, you only have to pay 58,900 rupees. But to make that sweeter, what we have done is we've broken down the course fee and the exam fee. So for those of you that only want to sit for the course or only want to join the course, you only have to pay 33,900 rupees today, right? Anyone that wants to do the exam can decide that by the 4th month, and you can make the exam payment close to the exam day, right? So we will schedule the exams once you have paid, but that payment only needs to be done once 3 months have gone by and the 4th month is ongoing. So the course fee for anyone that wants to join is only 33,900 rupees. For those of you that find it challenging to make the entire payment upfront, we have broken this down into 2 monthly payments of 19,500 rupees. So if you don't have 33,900 rupees to pay today, you can reserve your spot by paying 19,500 rupees. You can break this down into 2 installments. The exam payment, like I said, can be done if you are sitting for the exam by the 4th month. That is enough, right? Exam is optional, right? But it's better if you do, because you get qualified, right? I also give you some very special bonuses. Number 1 is personalized attention. Closer to the exam date, we give you individual sessions to practice with me, right? I give you individual sessions to practice with me because we only take 20 students. I don't take more than 20. I can't take more than 20, right? In fact, 3 of these spots have already been reserved by the previous batch, because what happens is when we keep a webinar like this, we get about 60 to 70 people inquiring, and we don't have enough slots to give. So once we fill the 20, anyone else that wants to join, we try to push them to another batch. Now, I don't know when another batch is going to start, but I tell them, look, if you want to reserve your spot early, you can make a payment and keep. Because when we do a webinar like this, people are coming in line to purchase, right? Because the spots are limited, right? Bonus number 2 is that you get to be featured on our podcast. So if you are someone that actively participates, and if you are interested, maybe to promote your own brand, maybe you just want to have a conversation with me, maybe you just want to showcase your newly found skills of speaking, you get to be featured on our podcast. Bonus number 3 is you get to be a part of our network. So any speaking engagements that come, voiceovers, if you want to get into radio, TV presenting, so on and so forth, we have a network of people that will help you get into those industries. I mean, I used to work at Gold FM, I have connections in Sirasa and so on. And if you are interested in getting into those companies, or if you want to do voiceover, if you want to get into comparing, you get to be a part of our network, right? Bonus number 4 is that if you want to continue and you want to complete your associate, your licentiate, your fellowship even, you can get discounts for those programs, and we give you referrals so that if you refer other people, you get certain benefits and so on, right? The final benefit or the final bonus is that you get to attend the Mystical Rose graduation ceremony. Usually happens at the Hilton, right? For all the public speaking graduates. All right. These are the bonuses that we offer.
Hi, this is Dilina Fernando, a native Sri Lankan and currently works as a chief sales officer for one of the blue chip companies right now in US. So before I found this class, speaking confidence is like a dream for me. I cannot speak confidence, I stammer a lot. But when I joined Success Academy and as well as when I worked with Seshan, I felt this confidence, energetic, and as well as he thoroughly taught me how to speak confidently and how to be elegant and as well as confidence in front of people. So with regards to this, what I can say is, don't wait until confidence comes to you. You create your confidence and as well as build your future. Stay safe, and I'm one of the living examples right now with regards to the public speaking class of Seshan Dias in Success Academy. Stay safe. See you soon. Bye.
All right. So that is again one of our students who went through the program, developed his skills. He was actually hired as a salesperson at a US based company, and he rose up the ranks because his grammar isn't the best if you really think about it. Right. When he joined us, he wasn't able to speak half as well as he spoke there, right? But simply because of the confidence he built, he was able to rise up to the level of manager, right? Simply because of the confidence, because he was so good at making sales to US clients, not Sri Lankan clients, US clients, right? He was a fantastic sales guy, all right? So guys, a lot of you are asking, okay, a lot of you are dropping comments. Someone says he looks like you. All right, guys, a lot of you are asking the account number and so on. Now, if you want to join our class, this is all you have to do. Take a screenshot of this page and send it on the WhatsApp group. Take a screenshot of this, send it on the WhatsApp group. The faster you pay, you get to reserve your slot, because we are starting on the 14th of October. That is next Tuesday. Before that, you need to make the payment and join. What you need to do is take a screenshot of this, send it on the WhatsApp, and my sales coordinator, Ashane, remember the name Ashane, will reach out to you. Guys, there are a lot of scammers. Now, when we create these free groups, you get people from Toastmasters reaching out to you. You get people from other classes reaching out to you. Don't listen to anybody, because we've had instances where, because there is so much demand, people reach out using, our connections or our brand name. Remember, only one person will contact you, Ashay, that is my sales coordinator, right? If you send the screenshot on the group, he will call you, he will send you the details, he will send you the account numbers to make the payment. Clear? So we only take 20 people. We cannot take more than 20 people. That is not possible. So if you want to reserve your slot for the October batch, which is starting on the 14th of October, send in the screenshot now and reserve your spot. Guys, a lot of you would have come into this year thinking that you wanted to achieve different New Year resolutions, right? Maybe you have New Year resolutions for 2026. Don't wait till the New Year starts. By the time this year ends, you can achieve your dream of becoming a confident speaker. And I guarantee, I don't just give you a false promise. I guarantee, if you sign up to our classes, if you sign up to this diploma, I will get rid of your fear of speaking in front of a crowd. I will make you confident, and I'll make you the best possible speaker that you can be. That's a promise. That's a guarantee. If you want to sign up, like I said, take a screenshot of this. The course fee is only 33,900 rupees. You can either make the full payment or you can make a part payment of 19,500 rupees. Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask those questions now. So I'll look at the chat box as well. Okay. Yes. So all the sessions will be conducted online, right? All the sessions will be conducted online. We are planning to start physical classes as well, but we're not sure when that is going to be. But it's not going to be for the diploma. It's going to be something completely different. So the diploma is going to be fully online, right? How many hours a week, guys? We have classes every Tuesday from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Right? We have classes every Tuesday from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. once a week for 16 weeks. But your time commitment throughout the week will be a bit more because you have to create videos, you have to send me recordings. There's a lot of work, right? But I guarantee if you do the work that I tell you to do, you will never ever say the words nervous, shy, scared ever again, right? Because you will be confident. So don't think too much about the time commitment. To do anything, to achieve anything, you have to put in a bit of work, right? And the people that do join our classes are very active. They send me videos, they bother me, and I bother them in return. Right? Okay. Can a kid join this session? Yes. Hassan has said, I'm a kid. Absolutely. If you are, it doesn't matter how old you are. Ideally, if you are 13, 14 plus, it doesn't matter. Anything less than 13, you might not really resonate too much. But if you're 13 plus, it's not a problem. Hassan, I'm glad you're excited. Right? Someone says, thank you so much, sir. I'm going to join your course. Why? Because it lives up to my expectation. That is fantastic. Right? I'm glad. Guys, if you all have any questions, you can ask. You can unmute yourself and ask. It's not a problem. Just raise your hand, your virtual hand, so that I can see you and help you unmute. Someone says, is it online? Yes, it is online. Thanks. It was very worth. We'll join in the future. That's great. Okay, if you're 11 years old, you might be a bit too young, my darling, because again, we'll be focusing on a lot of, I wouldn't say advanced, but at least intermediate topics. 13 plus, I wouldn't say is a problem. Below 13, I would not recommend, right? 13 below, I would not recommend. All right. Okay, some of you are saying that you will definitely join this session. Very excited, guys. I'm very excited. I hope to see you on Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 14th of October. I am very excited to see you all, right? And I'm hoping to see, I would like to say all of you, but that's not possible. But at least the first 20 people that reserve their spot, I'm very excited to see you. Darshana, do you have a question?
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Problem is Tuesday. Is there an update on any other day? You have to start soon.
The problem is now the October batch, we are starting on Tuesday, right? I see the thing is we already have a number of other batches running on different other days that we have started. I can't guarantee, I don't know when we'll start the next batch because I have to wait till exams are done and it's a bit of a process. Makes sense?
Let me see. I'm doing now an exam because I'm getting ready for my present degree.
Okay.
So lectures are going on that day. That's a problem.
Okay. That's okay. So what you can do is you can be on the group whenever we start another batch or whenever we do another webinar, we'll keep you informed. And maybe at that time, you can make a reservation. All right?
I want to give you a word to again. Yeah, it's so good because I have participated in many training courses. You are a great coach. Keep it up, sir. This is the thing that we need in Sri Lanka.
Thank you. Thank you so much for those kind words. I really appreciate it. Next one. So I hope to see you at least in the future. So stay on the group. We'll be updating.
It is very important because I want to follow it. So I keep in touch. So.
Fantastic one. Thank you so much.
Excuse me.
All right. Pushpa, yes. Do you have a question?
Excuse me, please. Excuse me.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Pushpa, are you there? You seem to be getting stuck.
Good evening, sir. I'm Faisal.
Hi, Faisal. How are you?
Actually, sir, and everything going on as usual. And the thing is, actually, I am so proud of you because, and actually, I have seen the performance. Just you are performing right now, and I actually don't think that I'm flattering you, because, and I'm not blowing your trumpet, sir. But the thing is, actually, and I have seen such a performance that you are delivering now in international level. And uh, why don't you try and deliver a speech on TED Talks, sir?
Well, maybe one day, maybe one day. I haven't really thought too much about it, but thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. I genuinely appreciate it.
And
And
excuse me, I also have a question, please. I'm
Second,
Pushpa Karnaratna.
one second.
Yeah.
Second. Faisal, yes, sorry, did you have something to add?
yeah, actually, sir, and I was about to ask you. And the thing is, actually, I have already spoken with your assistant, Mr. Shin, and he also has been an incredible personality. But the thing is, actually, and I have been an IELTS instructor in Kurunegala district, and is there a possibility if and on and off I visit to Colombo, if there is a possibility to meet you in Colombo, sir? Even though your agenda, I know, and you might have been a busiest bee, but anyway, is there a possibility to meet you, sir, even for a few minutes? And when I visit to Colombo, and if I previously booked with you, sir.
Of course, just be in touch with Ashay, and we can discuss something and meet up. I mean, I would love to, because I also do IELTS classes, like I told you, right? I mean, I'd love to see you. I'd love to meet you. This is called networking, right? That's fantastic.
Actually, sir, thanks a lot and tons of thanks. And I am dying to meet you, sir.
Same here. Pleasure is mine. Thank you. Thank you for those words, Faisal. I really appreciate it.
Indeed, sir.
All right. Pushpa, yes,
And
had a question.
yes, thank you. Thank you for, yeah, really, I couldn't get the photograph of the screen. And can I join with using, I got the photograph from my phone. Really, I'm a little bit sick today. That's why I didn't open this one. And I would like to join with you, sir, really. And please give me the chance to send my the photo from my phone, because
Sure.
I cannot. Yeah,
That's fine.
I'm
Take a photo from your phone, just send it on.
I'm Pushpa Karunaratna. Yeah.
Just send the photo or send the screenshot on the WhatsApp group, Pushpa, with your name, and our
Okay.
doctor will reach out to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and nice to have spend the time with you, sir. So nice. Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine, Pushpa. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shashank,
this is Amil here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Shashan, I think thank you so much for your introductory session today you had. That's really helpful to, some of the tips you have shared today. I just want to ask, is it your first session conducting on 14th of October onwards? So you
Correct.
had previously some sessions conducted. This is the very first one, right?
So the 14th of October will be day 1 of our 16-week program.
Okay, so that's the first batch of your public speaking program.
No, it's not the first batch, but it's the batch we are starting for this month. We have conducted previous batches.
Okay.
This is the first batch. That is correct.
Okay. Thanks,
And
Shashank.
things
Thank you so much.
actually, and in your today's program worth, and actually that worth is $1 million. Sir.
Thank you, Faisal. I appreciate it. Thanks, Amil. Thanks to you too. All right.
That is the
Hassan,
opinion.
yes, I see you jumping up and down. You can ask a question. Go ahead.
Hey, Seshan,
Yes.
I didn't think much of you, especially yesterday, but now that you did that webinar, I have no words. I had got previous experience with public speaking, but I am very much excited to finally get this certificate way before I do my O-levels.
Okay. Definitely. That is possible. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on the 14th.
Yes!
All right.
Yes!
I love the enthusiasm. I love it. All right, buddy.
Yes!
14th. All right. Fantastic. Lovely to see you, and the pleasure is mine. Who is that? Okay. All right, Hassan. Thank you so much. You have a good night. Yeah.
Peace!
Peace, man. Peace.
Peace!
All right. Yes. Amir, do you have a question again, or is this from last time? Zainab, yes, you can go ahead. Amil, do you have a question?
No, I think I actually raised before I just jumped in between. So that's a previous one, Shashank. Thank you.
Okay, superb. Sivaraj, yes, you can go ahead.
Yes, I am a Tamil person from northern province of Sri Lanka. I have no words to see you. I have experienced several public speaking courses in online, but this is one of the best public speaking courses that I ever seen in my life. So that's one of the motivational and inspirational webinar that I ever seen in my life, session, sir.
Thank you.
So I'm glad to see you on 14th October. That is our first batch. We have to meet with you in the interaction of online. So I have one question. Can you change the time of this batch, sir?
That is tough, my friend, because unfortunately we have fixed the times, and unless a lot of people request for a time change, because see, what we do is we mainly cater to working professionals.
Yes, sir.
People that are free after about 6 or 7 o'clock, which is why we have it at that's.
But I am one of the school student that I seeing your webinar from today onwards.
Makes sense, Sivaraj. I mean, I'm very glad that you are interested. I'm very glad that you are looking forward to sign up to the program. So maybe again, I can give you the same response that I gave Ruan, which is we might start a batch maybe on a weekend. I don't know. I can't guarantee. But if we do, we will keep you posted. All right. But right now, what we are starting in October is on Tuesdays at 7:30. Unfortunately, I'm unable to change that. Make sense?
Okay, sir. No problem.
But anyway, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate it.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Excuse me, how can I send my photograph? You have already, and only admins can send messages. So how can I contact you all?
Admins can, I don't think so, because a lot of other
I
people.
just can't send photographs.
Okay, can you send it privately to me in that case? So what I'll do is I'll drop my number onto the chat box and you can message the photograph to me. Not 715.
Oh, really?
Okay, I have sent my number the chat box. All right. You can send it to me.
Okay.
I will forward it to the group. All right, guys. Keep in mind, don't double send in the sense getting a bit of feedback. Yes, Gamini, go ahead.
So you're recording of the class to the group. I think it's be very helpful for those who miss the attend to live session.
I can't hear you properly, Gamini. Maybe if you drop a text, I think that would be better. If you can send a message onto the chat box, I can read it. Someone says,
I have sent, already I have sent a message.
okay, Gamini says, do you forward the recording of the class to the group? Yes, of course. Every class will be recorded and we will be sending the class recording onto the WhatsApp group at the end of every session. That is something we will be doing. Make sense, Gamini?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I got your message.
Great. Shan says, I'm in. Great.
Hello.
Yes. Who is this? Nurul, is that you?
Hello.
Okay, I hear someone else. Is that?
Hello.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, I have a small question regarding when it comes to board level presentations and it's kind of a public presentation, but in your course, how that will help to deliver and do a board level presentations?
Of course, I mean, look, if you're someone that has to deliver a presentation to upper management, to the board of directors or so on, what you need to build up is one, your presentation skills, how to build up a good PowerPoint presentation and how to present it well. So once you learn how to communicate confidently in front of an audience, by fixing your fillers, by not saying by fixing your vocal variations, the way you move your hands, the way you move your body, if you can fix those things, the content is something that you as a professional would know, and how to present that content is something that I can teach you. Makes sense? So it doesn't matter whether it's a board level presentation or a sales meeting or you're pitching your company or your services to a foreign company. It doesn't matter what it is. The presentation skills are going to be the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
No
Good
problem.
evening.
I hope to see you next week.
Of course.
Shashank,
Of course.
hi.
Hello. Yes.
Hi, I'm Rukshan. A lovely session. Much appreciated the way you conducted and looking forward to join the October group. You mentioned about a book at the very start of your presentation. And is that going to help us with our start of the course, or are you going to share it on ebook or whatever? How about that?
Ebook on the group now. As soon as the webinar ends, it will be shared.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
All right, super. All right. Guys, one thing that Ashain just came in and reminded me is don't duplicate the code, don't duplicate the photograph. That means don't send it 2, 3, 4 times, because we are only taking in a limited number of students. So when you duplicate it, sometimes if you message the same person, it cuts into the time. Okay. So send one screenshot, one photo, and remember, we are only taking 20 students for this batch. We simply cannot take any more, because like I said, I want to give each student a certain level of individual attention. So we cannot take more than 20, right? So if you want to sign up, like I said, the full amount is 33,900, or you could make a 19,500 rupee part payment and reserve your spot as soon as possible. I mean, you would see the groups. We have 2 groups and both of them are getting quite a bit of notifications coming in, right? So we get a lot of inquiries. I told you at the start, we get a lot of people inquiring whether they can join, but we can only take 20. So the first 20 that pays are the 20 that we are going to take into the October batch. All right, great. Okay, all right. Any other questions? Guys, I think Nurul, you're having a bit of feedback from your end, so maybe you can just drop a text. I can look at the box and answer your question. Michelle has asked the time duration of
Seshan, I'm Rukshan again.
Yes, Rukshan.
Yeah, the diploma you all offer end of the course can that be a stepping stone to a further study of public speaking, where it goes towards a degree, or it stops at the diploma level?
So how this works is we offer courses or programs from either Pearson or the University of West London, right?
Okay.
Connected with another institute called the International Institute of Mystical Rose. You can check that out. And
Okay.
what we do is, so this diploma is the initial stage or the initial qualification that you can get. After this, you have other programs that you can do. Now, this particular one is not connected to University of West London, but
Okay.
University of West London also has courses starting from the associate level up to the fellowship level. So this is a degree equivalent. The fellowship is a degree equivalent. So you have other tiers that you can go to. Makes sense? So this is the first tier. You get a diploma. And after that, and this is from Mystical Rose, which is assured by Pearson. You can also do West London qualifications as well. Make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. All right, guys. So, okay.
Yeah, Shishan, I have, sorry to interrupt, Shishan, this is Amil here again. After 4 months, this session been done, is there any platform we can practice or any net? I think you did mention about a few network session and so forth, but is there any kind of platform we can connect with you and kind of interactive session and so forth in future?
So this is something a lot of past students have also been asking. And up to now, we haven't really had anything of that nature. So what we've offered after is more qualifications that students can join into. But now we are actually looking into opening up a physical location, right? Because people that have completed their diploma and people that want to keep practicing year round, we thought it would be best if they could do it physically, right? Maybe we might consider an online platform as well, but I'm more excited about physical, right? So these are yet to be finalized, but definitely by January next year, we might start something. Again, no guarantee. I mean, although I said definitely, I don't, it's not definite, right? So no guarantee, but physical, an ongoing physical platform is something that we hope to start. Make sense?
Yeah, I think Shashan, I mean, I have been in this online session many times. I mean, I was looking at this kind of physical because I think there are two different confidence level. I mean, online platform and the physical platform. So, I mean, yes, online will give a kind of booster to you, and once it's done, and we can carry on with the physical session is much better to boost the confidence in front of audience to talk. The speech is, that nature will give you deliver a good speech in the physical manner.
For sure, for sure. No, definitely, that is something that we are looking to start. And we've already contacted a couple of places where we can potentially rent out and create our own physical academy of sorts. So my goal is to start by January, but I can't guarantee we get the ball rolling. Make sense?
Yeah, hope for the best. I think you will definitely will have a physical session on next year onwards, I guess. All the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, guys, I see a lot of lovely comments coming on the chat box. It would mean the world to me if you could send these on the WhatsApp group. Reason being, I like to share some of these messages because it gives us also a certain level of credibility. So if you could give me your feedback about the session on the WhatsApp group, that would be so helpful to me, right? So I would really appreciate it. I see Zainab, I see a lot of people having dropped thank you messages and lots of lovely comments. Really appreciate it. If you could send this to me on the WhatsApp group, that would be very, very, very much appreciated. All right. Okay, guys, I think it's time to wrap up. Thank you so much to everyone that joined. If you are interested in signing up to our classes starting next week, send across the snapshot, send across the screenshot or photograph on the WhatsApp group, and our coordinator, Shane, will get in touch with you. Send me your feedback on the group. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your participation today. Hope you guys have a good night and wish you all the best.